Guys, so there's gonna hopefully be two parts to this video. One part is gonna be about Scarlet Hollow and something I discovered, and the other one is just kind of letting you guys know what's going on, what up to, that kind of thing. So first off, Scarlet Hollow. So, as I told you guys, Black Tubby Games did a huge update on the first four chapters. They still haven't come out with chapter 5 yet, but, um, they did a lot of redrawing. They added new scenes or new ways of seeing scenes. They added new, just kinds of different kinds of stuff. Um, New dialogue options, new choices as to what to talk about, what to ask, that kind of thing. And apparently, also, Sybil, the owner of the general store, the one who is keeping her daughter Kanika um, in town for whatever reason that might be. Um, so she apparently has been added as a secret dating option. Like you can romance certain characters. I'm sure you've seen when we played through that a couple of options is like flirt, or like that I chose to flirt with Reese when we were waiting on his mom in the basement and all that. So you, uh, I don't know if I have a bit of a cold or what it is, but my nose is itchy. Um, but yeah, so anyway, apparently they added Sybil as a romance option. And considering one of the traits you can use is mystical, I'm wondering if there's a way to tie that in with the to start a romance option. Um so but to get back to what I discovered, um so on the Black Tabby Games Discord, um there uh Tony and Abby, I believe are their names. They're the ones who make Scarlet Hollow and Slay the Princess. So they made a survey for people to take after they played through the update. And so I did that because I finished that off yesterday. And, it asked different questions and all that kind of stuff. But then I wanted to go back and because there's two ways to avoid um giving up years of your life to Charles Shaw Jr. Um so number one way is to have a good enough relationship with Tabitha that she's the one who steps forward to do that. But you have to have like a really good relationship with her, and you have to basically like not talk to other people in town. And that is hard because I like everyone in Scarlet Hollow. I mean, I like Tabitha. Tabitha's one of those people who grows on you. You know, she's a bit timid as it is, but she's also been very much trained from an early age to take over the mines and to keep the town running and all that. So there's a reason why she acts the way she does, if that makes sense. Um, so, but anyway, and also, I just love how every once in a while she'll just say about her mom that she was a monster, or I know there's another thing you can get where she says, may she rot in hell, or whatever. Which makes me wonder how the funeral's gonna go. And y'all know how I feel about that and the current theory that there will be a sacrifice, whether it's us or the goat that we know by now is in the greenhouse as being placed by Sleepy Time Team. Gee, I wonder why. Anyway, so, but the other way you can get you can the other way you can get through, go without having to give up years of your life, is if you have book smart as one of your traits. Because if you have book smart, when you're at the library with Stella and Kanika, you have the option of reading more, and what you read allows you to basically represent yourself during the trial at the end. You know, where Charles Shaw is like, you must give up years of your life so I can rest, and all that. And you can basically talk him out of it and basically just say, go into the light. Nothing is stopping you from going into the light. You are stopping yourself, you know, and stuff. And also, if I remember right, you can basically say, I'm on the case. I will make sure this gets resolved. And yeah, so, but that has nothing to do with what I found out. So I was playing through. When I got done with my update playthrough, I went back because I had saved at a certain point, and I ended up in the playthrough giving up years of my life. And so I was like, oh, I wonder, because there's an option to hang out with Tabitha for most of the day, and you know, you guys get to know each other better and all that. And so then after that, she shows up, and at the end, she's the one who steps forward. But my what I also find interesting, what I found interesting is I was playing through it again, and still didn't work. I apparently didn't have a good enough relationship with her. Um, but so what I found out. So do you guys remember when we were playing and we had we drank Sybil's tea, which the theory is that, well, pretty much fact, although it hasn't been actually stated in game. But the the current probably fact leading theory is that Sybil somehow uses tea, her tea blend, to keep everyone not under her control. There's a couple of kind of reasons why she might be doing this, according to the fans. There's either she's doing it to keep people kind of ignorant about magic. Because, like, we come to town, we're immediately like, Ditchley, Skunk Ape, you know, that kind of stuff. Have to do with Duke and, you know, and the ghosts and Tommy knockers and all that. And you're like, and it's like, why don't other people seem to be worried about this stuff? And there are a couple of options, or at least there were in the past, where you could ask, where you could say, why is no one concerned? Like, for example, if you choose to save Gretchen, on your next, if you choose to save Gretchen instead of Duke, Duke will die. Duke will, you know, end up dying. And so you basically have the option to ask later on when you're talking to the cops and you're talking to Stella, you can be like, does nobody care that man just died? Yeah, that. So there's the thought that Sybil is keeping people kind of, that her tea is somehow keeping people ignorant to the existence of magic, to where they just like, oh yeah, it's just normal. You know, when you go and talk to the miners and you start asking them, hey, have you heard any weird noises or seen anything weird or any doughy, you know, Pillsbury kind of type entities? And most of them are like, nah. Matter of fact, if y'all remember right, when we talked to, it was only when we got to the mines that first time when we're talking to the miners. I mean, number one, we had more luck asking about Sam Wayne, versus, you know, just going right in with, have y'all heard any weird noises, you know? But it's not until we get to the last two miners who are older and who are more, probably grew up around the area, that kind of thing, where they, you know, it's like you ask the two older people about Tommy knockers, and they're like, oh yeah, I've heard, yeah, I hear them all the time, so I'm not in the mines. You know, sons of bitches stole my favorite pickaxe or whatever. And so it's like, but then that leads to the question of why? Why does Sybil want to keep magic out of the world? You know, why does Sybil want to keep the magic to herself, so to speak? Like, and you find out later that she is working with Tabitha to, I'm assuming, if there is going to be a sacrifice at the end of the week, I'm assuming that Tabitha is like, I'm not sacrificing my cousin because I like her. I want to keep her around, so I'm going to get a goat and have Sybil help me with her tea blends, and keep the goat placated. Because remember, we had talking with animals in our playthrough, and remember, we got to talk to the goat who didn't know what was going on, who just thought he had a sweet setup, all the all the stuff he could eat, and is in a greenhouse, which you gotta assume has plants in it, so he's probably chomping away on the plants and everything. So there's that. But so, and I can't really remember what the other reason is, but it has something to do with, I don't know if you guys watched Once Upon a Time, the TV show about all the, fancy fairy tale creatures who were stuck in the town of Maine, and it, like, you were literally stuck, like, you couldn't leave the town. Like, people could come in, but they couldn't go out again. And I'm wondering if it's something like that. If, like, once you arrive in Scarlet Hollow, you can't leave, at least not until destiny is served or whatever. So I'm wondering if we tried to leave town before the end of the week, I'm wondering if something would happen to us. Or if we would just pass out and wind up somewhere back in town. And, I don't know. I don't know how tea leaves can do that, but, yeah. And for anybody who's wondering, yes, I fully believe Sybil is a legitimate witch, or at least she's written that way in the story. But the thing that I discovered that I find really interesting is, so, Wednesday night ends or whatever, and, you've given up years of your life to Charles Shaw Jr. He's at rest. And all that. So there's also I just totally had brain fart and it just went whew. Yeah, okay, so I got it. Now, so what happens is, you go to bed that night, you wake up the next day, you're feeling old, you're feeling, and stuff, and you go about your day, you do things, you go down to town and start talking to people. As a matter of fact, your main goal is searching for Stella because she's still missing. So, but what I found interesting is, because after you give up years of your life, if you're going around with Avery and Kanika and going to different places searching for Stella, you go to the cops, you go to, whatever. You have so many options. You can go to the library, you can go to the church, you can meet Pastor Daniel, which I was really disappointed we didn't get a chance to do that during our Talk to Animals run, because you get a lot more information about Pastor Daniel when you're talking to him by himself. He opens up to you, and you both figure out you have the same goal, you have the same gift, and you talk about that and everything, and he opens up to you a little bit, and also possibly gives you some side quests for later on in the week. But anyway, so you can only go so far, and then you head back to town in between everything. So let's say you go to the church, or you go to the diner, then you come back to the same spot, which is the spot where you meet Stella and Gretchen at the beginning of the game. And usually, and I thought this was just a byproduct of giving up years of your life, because usually you can only go so far, and then you will have a fainting spell, and Kadik and Avery drag you into the general store, and then you end up having your tea reading with Sybil. And if at that point you've drunk the tea, you can't get out and drinking it again. Which is why I wanted to play using Street Smart as one of the traits, because that's basically the only trait that will let you not drink the tea during Sybil's thing. But yeah, so you drink the tea, she talks to you, she gives you hints as to what to do next, and all that. Then you go talk to Kanika for a bit, and then you leave and go to the, the clinic. And so, but what I noticed, and I don't know why I didn't notice this before, I've had different gameplays where this has happened, but like I said, I thought it was just a byproduct. But, so if you don't drink any of Sybil's tea, you don't ever faint. You can go. I mean, I still didn't get to go that far. I think due to some of the choices I made, like it cut short my thing. And also I accidentally clicked on I'm supposed to talk to your mom, mom later, maybe she'll have some ideas for me. And then I didn't realize that leads to you guys going directly to the general store and shortcuts everything else. So I do want to play it again. I was thinking of maybe playing it with you guys, if I can hold myself off for playing it again, because like I said, well, cut that short. Hold that thought for later. But like I said, I noticed because I had Street Smart, so I hadn't drunk any of the tea. And I noticed that I didn't faint. Usually you, Avery and Kanika, come back from wherever you've been, whoever you've talked to, and you're talking over your next step. Where should we go next? And I'm really kicking myself that I misclicked and cut everything short because I would have liked to see how far I go. I may go back to that gameplay because I think I have it saved reasonably decent, maybe. I might have to replay the day over again, but it would be interesting to see if I could if how far I can actually go before my energy runs out. But yeah, I happened to notice that. I don't know if it just didn't let me faint because I clicked and said, let's go talk to Sybil. Could have been that. Or it could be because I didn't drink Sybil's tea. So I want to test this again. And like I said, I may end up just replaying the day over again to see if I can test that theory. And I'll let you guys know. Matter of fact, I may just play it for you guys, because, like I said, it's just really, like, I didn't notice that before. Usually, like I said, you can only, after you give up years of your life, you can only go to so many places. Like, say you have 5 places you can go, you can usually only go to, like, 3 of them. And then you go back to your spot in front of the general store, and then you get dizzy and start to faint, and they drag you in, and you talk to Sybil. And it kind of cuts short anything else. That didn't happen during my Street Smart playthrough, where I didn't drink any of Sybil's tea. Which makes me think that Sybil doesn't want me investigating. Because think about it. I mean, a matter of fact, well, she doesn't want you investigating except for where she wants you to investigate, because she's the one that urges you, basically, to go to the clinic. She's the one who gets you to admit that there is another seal in the clinic, that you felt the presence of another one. And so, I don't know, I just, like I said, I may need to replay it and see if I can get see how far I can go. But, yeah, so, I don't know, I just find that really interesting. I'm just like, because, I was kind of like, okay, Sybil is either way more powerful than you think she is. I mean, it's like she seems to be just a nice old lady, come to her for tea, runs a general store and all that. But then that kind of makes me wonder, because it seems like she wants things to just keep going. But it also makes me wonder, because remember, the first time we see Sam Wayne, is when Stella and you go to see Sybil at the end of the first night. And remember, she says, go away, Wayne, I can't help you. And also, I did notice another little thing she said. Because, when everybody's talking after the haunting and you're asking people what did they feel like to be possessed, blah, 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 blah. And you have the opportunity to be like, because Stella runs off, she runs off and goes missing for a bit. And so she's like, oh, And one of the things that Wayne says when he appears during the middle of the haunting, and he's like, that girl's not a good influence on her. What was her name? Stella? I may have to pay her a visit. So it's like everyone's worried when she goes missing because, that's running through your brain and you're like, did Wayne do anything to her? Turns out he didn't. He didn't do anything to her. But at the same time, he there's definitely something going on in this town. And Sybil, for some reason, is trying to keep the status quo going. And, that's what I can't figure out, is because you find out later that Tabitha is like, our family runs this town and is the reason why the town's even alive, and then you find out from Kanika at some point that Pearl Ann has tried buying the general store. And, Kanika probably quite rightly says, if that ever happens, then we're back to a company town, which is where people used to, you had like one job, you mined. You did mining and all that stuff. People worked for a big boss, and even the stores that were available were all company stores. Like, they didn't even pay in like money. They paid in company dollars. They had their own brand of cash or whatever. And so, so that's why I don't understand this. Why is Sybil working with the Scarlets unless she's trying like a long con where she's like expecting to come out on top or something? Like, maybe she's expecting that eventually the Scarlets will die, because at this point there's just two of us left. Me and Tabitha, or the player character and Tabitha. And that, I don't know. Like, it might be interesting to, do a little deep. I don't know if there's anything to really dig up. Like, I've looked on Reddit. I'm part of the Scarlet Hollow subreddit and stuff like that. But, like, I don't know. It really hasn't been revealed at this point why Sybil is doing this. But another thing that I did notice, because I played through this most recent playthrough with Mystical and Street Smart, which was quite fun, by the way. And, so I noticed something. When you go with Stella to meet Sybil for the first time, it's like you get something like Sybil looks at you, and you feel like you're staring into the sun. And I'm assuming by that it means that Sybil, whoever she is massively powerful. There's even a possible theory that Sybil will live forever, that she has immortality, and that she was around during the... Because she knew Pearland. She knew the player character's mother. She knew, I think she even knew Edward Dean. Grandma Eddie, who was if the ghost is to believe, or the entity, whoever it is that we met in the haunting, or were introduced to in the haunting, Charles Jr. got Edwardine pregnant. And if you notice, when you're in the clinic, you have the opportunity of sneaking and reading autopsy reports or medical reports on your family, death certificates. And one of the death certificates is for somebody with the middle name of Charles, who supposedly died at birth. So, was that the child that Edward Dean and Charles Jr. conceived? And it's like, there's really nothing else beyond that, so I don't know if there's a way of looking up more. Maybe if you have Booksmart. But yeah. So anyway, that was my... Like, I noticed that as I was playing, I was like, wait a minute, I haven't fainted. I haven't felt bad. So, which makes me think that Sybil is using the tea to... Well, let me put it this way. I totally believe that she's using the tea to keep normal people under the shadow, under the fog, so to speak, or in the fog, so that they don't see the supernatural stuff. But I also believe she uses the tea to manipulate people. And I also wonder, because when Sybil comes and rescues everybody, gets everybody out of there, um, she's down there with the player character and Tabitha, and she's the one who tries to convince Tabitha to give up years of her life. And it's, you know, so I find that really interesting. So that makes me wonder if that's part of Sybil's plan. If she's trying to get Tabitha to give up years of her life to the ghost, to Charles Shaw Jr., and she's trying to do that so she has control over her, so she's got her under her thumb or whatever. Anyway, it's a thought, it's a theory, and like I said, I may go back and try replaying from a certain point on and see if I can see how far I can go. And if eventually I'll get tired and start, maybe I just hadn't gone far enough. Like, I don't know. I don't remember. Um, but yeah, so I just find that interesting. So we must research. We must do it for science. We must play the game again, or at least through a certain point, for science. But yes, anyway, I am highly thinking about. I still want to do Nine in the Woods. I still will be doing that. But I might interject the I might interject this in there just to show you guys the haunting from If You Have Booksmart. Because, like I said, Booksmart is very important. Oh, and also, apparently, because one of the traits you can have is hot, which is funny because they have two physical traits. They have, like, the bodybuilder, powerful, which allows you to do certain things. And then there's hot, which is affects your charisma. For those who play D&D and would understand it that way, so it kind of makes people like you a little bit more. And apparently that also affects your relationship with Tabitha, which is funny considering she's your cousin. But oh, and also, Tony and Abby have come out and said, apparently, I missed this, I was in the Discord at that point, but apparently, they have both come out and said that that they will not add Tabitha as a romance option because she's your cousin and they don't want to do any of the weird relation stuff. Which then also means that whatever this entity is, he's not related to us because you can romance with or the entity that's residing in with, which I also find kind of funny because Like the vessel that the entity is puttering around in is dead and has been dead for a while. So it's like, eh, haven't really done that. I've only really had the encounter one time where, like, where I've gone with Tabitha to find Stella, and I leave Tabitha and Stella there and start going home, and then all of a sudden Wayne's there. He's like, let me walk you home, you know. And that's another interesting thing we could talk about at some point is like, why does Wayne care about us so much? Why does the entity want to make sure we're safe? And that is actually what has kind of led some people to believe that we were originally meant to be the sacrifice at the end of the day. Because basically the theory is this entity has been around for years and years and years, decades, has been attached to the Scarlet family. And I honestly believe it started with Teddy. Because if y'all remember, we saw that vision where Teddy had been caught in the mine collapse, but he made it out, but his legs were crushed. Like, he couldn't use his legs anymore. And so he's lying in the hospital bed. Enoch comes in, and we think, some of us think, Enoch is one who originally made the deal. Unless there's even further history back that we don't know about. But the current theory is that Enoch is the one who made the deal. And if you guys remember, during the vision, you know, Enoch comes in and he's like, Teddy, you don't have anything to worry about. I went and talked to the witch. Which means either he went and talked to Sybil about it, who was alive, and is going, if she's immortal, like there's a current theory about, or he talked to one of her predecessors. Like, if she comes from a long line of people with, like, magical powers or whatever, then there's possibility of there being something like that going on. But yeah, so, and that's why I think Sybil knows more than she's letting on, because of the tea thing and because of the fact that she, on first glance, you wouldn't think she would have anything to do with people not being able to stay away from Scarlet Hollow, people not being able to leave Scarlet Hollow, or, or why is she helping, the Scarlets if they want to buy out her general store and everything? And why is she keeping her daughter in town? And like, I don't know, I just find it really interesting. But anyway, yes, I do want to play through the game again. using Booksmart because I want to get to the point where I can basically defend the player character and Tabitha, and where neither one of us have to give up years of our life. And so I don't know. I just find it interesting. But like I said, I was playing through the game, went through that, all of a sudden was like, wait a minute, I haven't fainted yet. Is it because I didn't drink the tea? And then that leads to the whole rabbit hole of what is Sybil's plan? What is Sybil up to? Is she playing the long game where she's trying to outlive, you know, where she's trying to outmaneuver the Scarlets, or is she truly working with the Scarlet? Because, like I said, it's just a player character and Tabitha left. And Tabitha's female, so unless she gets married and has a boy, basically, the Scarlet line won't. But, which is also very funny because the Scarlets are very matriarchal. Like, the females are the female people are the ones in that family who are in power. Like, the men don't really do very much. Which also leads to a possible theory that they're the ones being sacrificed to the entity. And then there's a whole theory of every once in a while, we don't know how long time has to go, but it's kind of make me wonder if because if you look back at the Scarlet history, the Scarlet, like I said, the Scarlet men tend to disappear or leave the family. And there are certain things when you look at the death certificates for some of them that make you think, were they sacrificed? And then that also leads me to think it's kind of a recurring thing. Like, every so often you have to make a sacrifice to the god. But then the Scarlets are kind of reducing their life, because if the men are the ones who are being sacrificed, and like I said, there's only like 2 Scarlets left. Oh, not mean to do that, but if there are only 2 Scarlets left, the player character and Tabitha's female, and I've been playing as a female. I haven't played as a guy yet. I might do that at some point, see if there's any difference. But yeah, if there's only the 2 Scarlets left, then I can see Sybil being like, I'm just gonna wait them out. Their line will die out, and then our family will be empowered. Or just get rid of the bad family. Because Scarlets haven't been the nicest people, at all. So, but yeah, let me know in the comments. Um, but I think I might do that. I think I might at least see if I can edit a video because I know Booksmart comes in handy when we're in the library, and then I might cut forward to being at the trial at the end of the haunting, because I've done that route before, where and Booksmart is very helpful for that. So yeah, let me know if you guys want me to do that. And yeah, so that's pretty much it for the game right now. But like I said, I was playing that this weekend, and I was just like, what? And I was just like, oh, that's interesting. I gotta tell you guys about it. So, anyway, expect the next day of Night in the Woods, or however long we go. Sometime this week, not really sure when. I gotta do my taxes. I kind of wait till. Well, it's not technically the last minute. We still have a few weeks, but I gotta do my taxes. Sometime this week. Or the next couple weeks. And, yeah. So, I'm very curious to see how much, if anything, I'll get back. Like, I don't know. Because because the one W-2 I have, I only have, I have less than $100 that I earned. So I'm not entirely sure how that's going to work, but we'll see. Anyway, but yeah, so that's the main thing I gotta work on this week. But I also really want to get the next day or whatever of Night in the Woods out for you guys, because I know it's been a little boring so far, but it'll start getting more into the spookiness and more of the history of everybody and all that the farther we get into it. So I may have the next gameplay footage last a little bit longer than just a day. It just kind of depends on on whatever. But yeah, so just let you know that is coming. I do plan on uploading that sometime this week, but I'm not entirely sure when that's going to happen. But yeah. So other than that, just wanted to share that with you guys because I thought that was kind of fascinating, and I could talk about Scarlet Hollow for hours because I'm just I like how we're given just enough information and where some stuff might be answered, But then it still leads to, yeah, but what about this? Or why is this person doing this? Or whatever. And so, yeah, I'm just kind of curious. I may go back and research for science. I know, whatever. But, yeah, I might just do that. I might just record that gameplay and then edit it and upload it for you guys so you guys can see. Because, like I said, Booksmart is a fun trait to use as well. Not sure what I do for the other trait, except maybe go with talk to animals again, because if you don't give up years of your life, you can go and talk to everybody on that list, including Pastor Daniel, and that is quite illuminating. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, in the meantime, I hope you guys are having a great week. So far, I will talk to you again at some point. Like I said, expect the Night in the Woods, day 3 footage, I think we're at so far. And, yeah, talk to you guys later. Have a good rest of your day.